This week at Outsider Reviews, we've got the 2024 Bronco Raptor. Welcome back, Outsiders. My name is Pat, and we've got Luke behind the camera. Now, a little bit about our channel. We're just a couple military veterans that like to do car reviews, and we like to do it from the consumer's perspective. We like to look at the vehicles as if you're buying it, what's value for you, and all that stuff. So if that sounds good to you, please press like and subscribe. That way you can support us as we do more reviews. Now, we usually do everyday reviews, everyday cars. This is a treat for us. We don't usually get supercars. We're a small channel, but even then I like to review regular cars, but every now and then we treat ourselves like this. The Bronco Raptor. 3 amber lights, it's a Raptor. Whether it's a Ranger or a F-150, that is the signature Raptor insignia right now, as well as the big Ford written. Now, you gotta love that front end. That will definitely catch you some looks as you're gonna be walking around, as you're driving around town. People are gonna notice. Again, signature Bronco amber lights. I absolutely love the look of these lights. Usually we like to turn on the lights when we film a car, just make it look cooler with the LED, but this time we just kept the daylight running lights because it looks really sharp. We have the code orange option, so we have orange tow hooks as well as a little bit orange here and there as far as decals and so on. Big steel plate right here, because this beast is ready for off-road. You're looking at over 13 inches of ground clearance. Definitely a beast. And you'll notice right here, we've got some off-road lights. Now, there's a cap on it. You might ask yourself why you cover it up with a cap. You actually are not supposed to have it on, legally speaking, on the road. So when you're off-road, these illuminate the crap out of the place, and we're gonna take this baby off-road as well. Not in this review. This review is basically the walk-around and just the tarmac version of the review, but we do have an off-road review of this vehicle coming up, so stay tuned, like the channel, you'll see it. Under the hood, we've got a twin turbo 3-liter V6 that puts out 418 horsepower and 440 pounds-feet of torque through a 10-speed transmission. Gives you a 0 to 60 time in 5.6 seconds. Not too shabby for a car weighing well over 5,000 pounds. It's got a very nice suspension, a Haas 4.0 suspension with Fox Live valve 3.1. Like I said, ground clearance is 13.1 inches. Approach angle 47.20 degrees. Departure angle 40.5 degrees, and breakover is 30.8 degrees. Water fording up to 33.5 inches. Fuel economy, this is where you're gonna have some bad numbers, but that's expected of a car with this output. 15 and 15. What do I mean by that? Well, we're a Canadian channel, so 15 liters per 100 kilometers is going to be basically your average. And in the United States, it's actually 15 miles per gallon as well. It's the first time I get numbers that are matched, and I don't even have to refer to my notes because I can remember 15. It's just times 2. So 15 miles per gallon and 15 liters per 100 kilometers. I'm going to address that a little bit more when I'm driving around. What's it really like in real life? But anyways, you gotta love the Raptor because it's got these nice little add-ons. You got the gills here, you got the Raptor written every now and then where the heat extractor on top of the hood is. And of course, like I said, the code orange decal. Some people might say it's red, it's not. It's, you know, orange, red type of color. And when you look below that, we've got the 37 inches of rubber on that 17-inch wheel. Now, you might notice something. This is it. We have the code orange package, but this rim is all black. That is correct. When you get the code orange option, this should actually, where the beadlock is, because this is a beadlock capable rim, this should actually be orange. Don't ask me why this particular press vehicle is not, but when you build and price, you'll see that it is going to be orange around here, which I absolutely love. But the 37-inch all-terrain KO2 from VF Goodrich definitely do the job. And you got that nice wider fender flare here. Looks very mean, and also obviously you want to pay attention to these when you're going through those drive-through, and they got those big posts there, so make sure not to hit those. All right. But you also have nice 360 camera warning you that you're about to hit it. No worries. We definitely have keyless entry, and these doors are removable. I'm not gonna do that. All right, there's some YouTube channels out there that show you how to do that, so just go look at those ones. But these doors are all removable. We actually have a step. It's fairly up, but you expect that from a vehicle. It's going to give you some nice ground clearance. And we have rock slide here. So it's nice to have the combination of both, right? Because we drove the Colorado ZR2 or ZR2, and it only had the rock slide, no steps. So I like that they have both on the Bronco Raptor. Further back here, we got some more decals, some Raptors in that code orange color. Fuel cap, now it surprised to me, it's 87 octane, but I would recommend getting 91 or premium and above, just because, you know, this is a high performance vehicle. And it has a nice little touch here of previous Bronco. Now we have the 1969 one and 2019 and 2022, so that's kind of cool. That's what I like about this vehicle. It's got those nice touches everywhere you look. There's a little something special for you, and you'll see why, because that price tag reflects that. Out back here we have another 37-inch full-size spare, which is absolutely a must for an off-road vehicles, because by God, you're gonna go through some tires when you're going rock climbing and stuff. So you definitely need this. I like how it's convenient right back here. And we have another Raptor logo back here. We have more tow hooks, which definitely comes in handy. Now, I'm gonna open this. Obviously, it's a kind of barn door style, and the window goes up. As far as cargo capacity, we're looking at 35.6 cubic feet with the seats up. And if I put the seats down, 73 cubic feet, which is actually quite a lot of room. It makes this vehicle a little bit more versatile. You can definitely lug around quite a bit of kit. And there's room for the whole family. Now let's go see how much room there is in the back seat. Here I'm in the back seat, and I actually got pretty good leg room. I got 36 inches of leg room, and headroom is ample enough. I'm only 5'9", but still I have quite a few inches left of headroom. Cup holders, standard. I mean, this is a pretty small armrest, but you can fit decent size cups in here. And you got to take a look at these seats. They look really nice. You got the marine grain leather as well as the orange accent from that code orange option. Definitely looks good. I love the blue and the orange put together, and the stitching. Everything looks very premium. Feels very premium. Over here, I've got a 110 volt outlet as well as USB-A, USB-C. These are not heated seats buttons. These are the window controls. They're on here because the doors can be removed. Over to the seat itself, on the back here, you have this grid pattern here, which reminds me kind of Molly, right? You can hook up and attach different kind of thing, makes it look more adventurous, and obviously it has functionality to it, as well as this netting. You can fit various items in there, and that netting also, you can see in the door, you can fit a very large size bottle in here, and it will stay put, which I absolutely love. The doors, you know, if it's got some rugged plastic foot to it, but I mean, this is an off-road vehicle where the doors can come off. I expect that, and as well as you do have some leather to it where the door handle is. So all in all, I'm very comfortable back here. I'm very happy with the looks, and everything feels quite premium. It doesn't have heated seats, which I would expect with a premium vehicle, but I mean, I don't care because I'm usually driving anyways, right? Let's go see how the drivers are. All right, here I am in the driver's seat, the Raptor. I don't want to go fast. Anyways, before we get there, just gonna give you a quick layout. So right away, the steering wheel, you got your regular stuff. I mean, this is your regular adaptive cruise control buttons here, but down here you have your steering wheel adjustments, your Raptor settings as well that I'm going to go through right after this. And then your suspension, including your exhaust. So you can tweak all that right here from the steering wheel, which is handy. And you got your music control here and communications controls as well. Definitely, I love the touch of the carbon fiber touch with the Raptor insignia. Definitely looks really sharp. Now, for that infotainment, sorry, the driver cluster, like I said, you got your Raptor settings right here, and you have different driver assistance as far as your off-road status, your pitch and roll, your power output. Everything is going to be right here on the screen, and your power distribution, which is the one I would use if I was going off-roading. And you can also select your trip status to see how bad your fuel economy is. So, not kidding, but we are at roughly 15, well, we're at 14.8 liters per 100 kilometers, so roughly like still around the 15 miles per gallon threshold. So that's the plus side, is when you're driving this, you are going to get that EPA estimate. It's just the EPA estimate. You're going to wish that it was a little bit better than what it is. Moving on, you just have some nice leather, as well as the orange stitching that you get from the coat of orange, as far as orange accents everywhere. It might look bright reddish in the camera, I'm not too sure, but it definitely is orange. Bronco stamped out. Everything looks really good. Up here we have our this kind of drive off-road features. So we have the front sway bar disconnect. We have front locker, rear locker, and your rollover control. Now I'm going to go a little bit more into what those do in our off-road reviews. Definitely watch that video. It's going to come out right after this one. All right, so stay tuned for that one. And up here, you know those off-road lights that I said you can't activate, or you have to keep the cap on and you can't activate when you're on road because you're going to blind everybody? Well, that's what that auxiliary button is for. And then you have another 5, so a total of 6 auxiliary buttons switch. And I love that sound, just flickering them all day. I don't recommend you do that. But another thing that's really cool up here is the quick disconnect of the roof. So I'm not going to take it off because, you know, the sunlight is going to ruin your shot. And then Luke behind the camera here is going to get very upset that we're going to ruin his shot. But it's that easy for this part. Now, the rear part does require a little bit more work to it, but there's some YouTube channels out there that have how you can take off everything from top here, and definitely recommend watching those. Now up here I have a USB-A and USB-C. That's very convenient in the front for us to attach our GoPros and keep it nice and charged. Definitely handy. And then we have the 12-inch infotainment system. As you can see, this one has wireless Android Auto, but also wireless Apple CarPlay, and I can collapse it if I want to. And I can have, and this is something that I absolutely love about this system, is that you can have the navigation from Ford and your Android separately, or you can have the music or whatever you want to have down there. It can do that, or you can just have it full screen. Also, you can have access to your setting. You can see the response time is fairly fast. It's a really good system. And then you can change all your driver assistance from adaptive cruise control and manage all that stuff here. But you'll notice Blue Cruise is not on there. And I think that's a big miss. As I'm going to talk into drivability, this vehicle handles quite well when it's on the road comparatively to those famous Jeeps. And they don't do this one does not do the death wobble, handles really well. So I think a little bit of Blue Cruise, especially for the price, we're looking at upwards of $100,000 here. I think that should have Blue Cruise. So that's going to be my ding at Ford for not having that option. You have the tech, just go on and use it. Now further down, I have my camera settings. So you can see we've got a nice 360 cameras going on here, and you can just select and look at the sides as well when you're off-roading. Some of these cameras will come in automatically when you're into some off-road mode, so you can see the front camera will be activated, which I absolutely love. And so you got that camera button here, and everything else is your HVAC controls and your music controls. It's just traditional knobs and buttons, which I absolutely love. We got heated seats, but not ventilated seats. So I think that if you're going to roll with the top off in the summertime, Ventilated seats should be something you can have, because, you know, you want to be cool with your top off, but you still want to be, you know, keeping cool a little bit. So I would definitely do that. You have more USB-A and USB-C down here, as well as your wireless charging pad for the phone, right next to a Ford Performance plate right here. I like this touch, this nice metallic plate, as well as a little bit of extra carbon fiber on the sides here, as well as on the shifter. You got the Bronco logo and an American flag. Right next to it, this is where your operating area for your off-road, all your drive modes. All right, we're looking at drive modes from slippery, tow haul, sports mode, normal mode, off-road, Baja, rock crawl. Now you see, like, when you're switching through these drive modes, it's automatically going to tell you, okay, we're going to switch to 4 high for this. It's going to change the suspension for you. It's going to do all these changes automatically. And like for rock crawl, it's going to tell you put it in neutral so we can go to 4 low. Everything is nice and automated. I don't know if you guys are a fan of that, but this is technology. This is actually really cool, and you can do it all on the fly as you're driving around, which is really cool. You don't have to stop whatever you're doing, change it, except for when you have to go into neutral to go to 4 low. So I'm talking about rock crawl mode, but everything else can be changed on the fly. Now we're going to do again like a in more depth review of the off-road driving during our off-road review. So definitely stay tuned for that, and don't forget to like and subscribe so far if you like the video. Now past that, we got your window controls. Because the doors come off, you don't want your window controls to be on. Matter of fact, I mean, doesn't really matter, but you want most of the controls here. I'm saying if the doors are off, you don't really need window controls because the doors are off. But you do have your mirror controls down here. So if you had those on the doors, that would kind of suck. And when you take them off. So mirror controls are over here, center console over here. Again, we got a nice little sign telling us this is not a step. Cool, thanks for that. These are my gas bills. You can see that it's going to cost me a bit this week. And again, going on over here, again, the seats, nice grain leather and I don't know, some kind of suede fabric. The marine blue with the orange accent definitely looks nice. And then you got your glove box, just, you know, regular glove boxes where you put your manual and stuff, and your handles here for well, definitely for my passenger, which is usually my wife. She's gonna need those instead of trying to tap everywhere and reach around everywhere. She's got those nice holy shit handles over here and off to the side as well, so your passenger can hold on for dear life. Now we're gonna take this on the tarmac and take it for a spin and tell you how it drives. All right, 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds, and it sounds great. I absolutely love, I mean, it is a big vehicle. We're talking above like 5,000 pounds, but man, does it sound really nice. And right now I'm in the mountain roads of a small town north of Quebec, and it's extremely bumpy. Like, this road kills basically every car, my personal car, and you know, it dents rims and it's awful, just awful. But this vehicle just tackles that no problem. Absolutely no problem at all tackling it. And I love how, especially in the sports mode, you got that little bit more of a rigid feel to the vehicle, because, you know, it does bounce quite a bit because it's an off-road vehicle. It's got to be able to absorb everything nicely. It's got to have that travel distance and that suspension. But when you kick it in sports mode, it really makes a big difference. It hardens everything up, and it just, also the exhaust sounds really nice in sports mode. Definitely love cruising with it, but you know, oh, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this off-road, but I'm actually having a lot of fun with it on-road as well. But it definitely handles it just great. The body roll is if you put it in the right suspension mode for the road you're on, or for the type of driving you're doing. Like right now I'm doing a little bit more sporty driving. It's handling just great. There's not that much body roll. So I love the diversity of this vehicle, right? Not every off-road performance vehicle can tackle a road and just be as smooth, right? Now, if I'm looking at overall visibility around, I mean, it's pretty good. Especially like you have all the camera support you could think of, especially when you're off-roading, but you know there's a steep drop in front of that hood. So I've had no real issues parking. Now, if you're going through a drive-through, like I said, those big fenders, flares are gonna be, they're sticking out quite a bit. I definitely tested to see if the the sensors were calibrated for them, because I definitely went really close when you're going through a drive-through with those big posts sticking out. And so yeah, but overall, like, I am really pleased by how this SUV drives. Now here's something cool. We're gonna tackle a little bit of acceleration on the gravel road. See how it does on the gravel road. Got some slip. Oh yeah, you can definitely launch it. Definitely launch it. I mean, this vehicle is gonna tackle a gravel road very easily. It's not gonna be an issue. And you know what? You don't feel bumps as much as you would with a conventional car when you're driving down a gravel road. Or if you're driving around in Quebec with all those potholes, there's potholes here like everywhere. And you know, being the gravel road that I'm driving on, you know, that water wash that makes, you know, your vehicle go like that's the most annoying thing. Well, I'm driving through some of it right now, and I don't know if you guys can hear it. I barely hear or feel anything. The Haas 4.0 suspension is doing what it was meant to do. Those 37s are definitely cushioning the blow when it comes to all these potholes. Let's try to hit a couple ones. There we go. Yeah, it's really good. Like gravel road or pavement pothole road, you're not gonna feel them. I'm just gonna turn around here. Do a little bit of a turn. Yeah, it's doing a really good job. I've got some more potholes here. Let's try to hit them. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see from the camera, but I've barely feeling anything. Like, it is amazing. So that's gonna sum it up for the handling of the Bronco Raptor in the street review. So yeah, I went down a gravel road. It's not off-road. Hey guys, just before I let you go, it's me again from the future. Well, from when that was recorded, because I'm about to turn in this vehicle into the press fleet, and I wanted to point out just a few more things that I noticed throughout the week. Now, I've driven over 1,000 kilometers, and there's a few things I want to talk about a little bit more specifically. I love being able to change my suspension, my exhaust, and my steering on the fly, because if you just go into the drive modes, like if I go into sports drive mode, like I guess I want to drive on the road and I want it to be engaging, responsive, and all that stuff, and I just go into sports mode, it's automatically going to kick it into 4 high. Now, when I'm driving around town, myself as a driver, I like to be more engaging. I like to have a little bit more of a responsive suspension for cornering and such. And I find that the normal suspension setting on this is a little bit too bouncy for my taste. Yes, it absorbs everything just so great. Speed bumps, you can just speed right over the speed bumps. I don't recommend that. That's not what they're there for. You're supposed to slow down, but you get my point, right? They're very comfortable. But as a driver, when I got nobody else in the vehicle and I just want to, you know, maybe take those corners a little bit more aggressively, in an aggressive manner, or I just like to drive, I like to throw that suspension in the sports mode. but still leave it in too high, because I don't want to pay the gas price that comes with going to full out sports mode with that 4 high engage. So that to me is, and I think for an engaging drive, this is the best setting, Nick. Boom, sports suspension, put the exhaust whatever sound you want to hear. But speaking of the exhaust, another thing I noticed this morning, and I would only notice this morning because, man, I wake up early to bring these vehicles back. So it's a 4-hour drive. So I woke up at 4 a.m. and turned the vehicle on. Automatically goes into silent mode. It seems to know what time it is and not to wake up all your neighbors, so they automatically tune. And that's not something that happens all the time, because usually when I turn on in midday, it's gonna be in normal exhaust noise, which is really good noise. And that's something that kind of paying attention to detail from Ford, I find is noteworthy, and I wanted to mention it to you guys. And it's not something that every tester probably can tell you in these kind of reviews, because not everybody wakes up at zero dark stupid like I do. Now I'm gonna take it on the highway, because I told you it's fairly quiet, as considering that it's got 37 inches. Let's go to that highway speed. Oh yeah, no problem. Here we go. So I'm gonna be cruising roughly around 65 miles per hour with the flow of traffic here. And I'm gonna engage the cruise control. Now, like I said, it doesn't have blue cruise, kind of wish it did. So here we are, let's engage that and set it. All right, so where I am, approximately 65 miles per hour, and here's the noise that you're listening to. Now, we do have 37-inch tires. We do have a nice, aggressive, flat front fascia and a flat-ish windshield. So you're gonna get some wind noise. But if you're paying attention to, I don't need to scream. If I have somebody right next to me, I could literally just talk to them in my normal voice. I don't know why when I'm on camera I like to engage more, you guys, so I talk maybe a little bit louder, but truth be told, I can talk in this normal tone and have a conversation at highway speeds. And I find that to be pretty cool. Especially for this kind of off-road, or this kind of aerodynamics or lack thereof. And the tires, the fenders, everything about this vehicle is not meant to be going very aerodynamic and very quiet, but it is, especially with the roof, the removable roof. It's a hard roof, but it's removable, and you expect some more noises from that. So definitely noteworthy. I wanted to mention to you before I leave. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get on with the review. Let's go back in time. All right, that was fun. I actually have a blast driving this, and I'm so happy I get to have it all week. Now, let's talk about a little bit of fun numbers. Let's talk about first price. It's not gonna come cheap. It's a supercar. None of them come cheap. So in the US, you're looking at $92,000 to get this one, and I'm talking about with the code orange option. In Canada, $127,000 for this vehicle. That's including freight and shipping and all that stuff. And that really hurts me here. Well, mostly here in the wallet area, but that's gotta hurt, that conversion between American dollars and Canadian. But that is the fact of life. Now, what are your options though? Like if you're looking at competition, what else is out there? Well, there's one thing that's going to come to mind, and I think we're all going to say it at the same time. 3, 2, 1, Jeep. That's right. Not just any Jeep, though. We're talking about Jeep Rubicon 392 Edition, which comes with that massive V8, lots of horsepower and lots of torque. So that's where you're going to compare the two. Is it's got more horsepower, it's got more torque, it's got more get up and go than the Raptor, which I can't believe I'm saying, because usually Raptor is king, but that is the fact of life of the Jeep 392. So the pros and cons here, where does this one shine is, Well, it's going to have a better fuel economy than a Jeep, if you're going to believe that, even with the fuel economy this has. But it also has more ground clearance. We're talking almost like 2 inches of extra ground clearance from the 392, which got 11 point something. And this one's got 13.1 or so, 13.3 inches of ground clearance. So more ground clearance with this vehicle. The 392 comes with 33 inch and this one comes with 37 inch. So that could be what's at play here. But also, I like the smooth suspension work of this vehicle. We're talking about the Haas 4.0 suspension. Definitely does the work, and how everything changes up on the fly. Which is going to take me to the conclusion of the pros and cons here. Let's start with the pros. Not just, you know, that's definitely something that changes per person, depends on how you are, but the looks of it, I definitely love the looks of it, and I'm not the only one because people are turning their heads. This is turning heads for getting looks of it, so that's definitely a pro, and the code orange option is definitely adds to that. Another pro is not just the ease of off-roading, because we're going to talk more about that in off-roading, but the ease of driving it on the highway when you're driving at high speed. So I have a couple of pros here because I'm surprised by how these big, massive tires, one, yes, it's noisier than a regular vehicle would be, but it's not as noisy as I expected. Definitely not as noisy as other off-roaders that I've tested in the past. And they got to give that up to Ford for doing a really good job for this massive off-roader. It's not as noisy, but it's easy to drive. One hand, you can one hand drive. I don't recommend it, but I always have 2 hands when I'm driving. But you could easily control this with one hand, and you wouldn't have a death wobble to counteract. So it's definitely smooth. The cons, however, well, that fuel economy is, you know, gonna kill you, as well as far as with the price of gas these days. So I mean, I'm gonna nail it for that, for the fuel economy. And I would expect a little bit more power from a Raptor. This is a Raptor, and that comes with expectations. So as much as I do get, you know, have a lot of fun driving this vehicle, and it's a lot of fun, it sounds great, I think they could have done more. I think it under delivers on the power aspect of it when you consider that it's a Raptor, which should be in a league of its own in a super off-road world. But you guys let me know what you think about my pros and cons, what you think about the overall review. We love to hear your feedback, so comment below. And if you're still watching and you haven't liked the video, I'm going to ask you what's wrong with you, because we're 20 minutes in and you haven't pressed the like button. I mean, what are you trying to do here? Come on, throw us a freaking bone here. But yes, please press like. Consider subscribing, and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. If you just want to support a channel that's, you know, an outsider channel that looks at things maybe a little bit differently than every other YouTuber looks out there. Until then, Luke and I are going to sign off, and we'll see you on the off-road review.
And I have a better.
Let's go ride!
I have a better.
It's not off-road. I kind of laugh sometimes when I see YouTube channel drive down a gravel road and be like, yeah, we took it off-road. And I'm like, not really. It's a gravel road. You're still on a road, but all the power to you. So that being said, let's continue on with the review. We'll talk a little bit about competitors and